the things that I want to show you here, I think one of the good examples that talks about modular design, or the how we can utilize the modular setup in a way that works for us, is that I have this tank, and it was originally plain. I'm going to isolate it, control 1, and then shift right mouse button, separate. I usually combine the geometry. It's much more easily handled than grouping, for me at least. So it was without these rings, and to make it like less plain, so it would compete with the visual richness of the other tank, I made it with like 3 rings. So this way it wouldn't feel like blank if we just had that tank close to this one. This one has these pieces, and I pretty much cut it in half and duplicated it, or like mirrored it. So I have this kind of like very rich design. Kind of visually, it's like the geometry is kind of really interesting. But what I would like to do is to create a version of this that could be deceiving in a way that it can be seen from one side differently from the other. And you can also feel like if I were to take this object and just repeat it, it may feel a little way too repetitive, right? And that's because it's a little too much. One of the things that you need to avoid, generally speaking, and also applies for modular design, is that the tertiary level of details should not be vivid. Like, it should only be there like spices. Just a little bit of spices makes a huge difference in the cooking, right? So it doesn't have to be like dominant or like filled or whatsoever. So what I'm going to do here, and I left this as a really good example for demonstrating what I'm trying to explain here. What I'm going to do is, because these are, in case you didn't know, because these are combined geometry, if you go to the faces and you double click here, you can just double click and select all the geometry, and you can move the geometry as components without really worrying about like if it's connected to the object or not. Then I'm gonna delete these. The other thing that I'm gonna do is, I mean, you can also play on like having this as a big piece and these as 2 big pieces. So I'll make a version of that as well. So let me just copy this. And what I would like to do here is taking these guys, and now like the 3 pieces of them, or the sum of the geometry has some weird in between kind of pivot point. So what I would like to do is to use this as my pivot point here. So D to change the pivot point. I can go and click V and then drag this here. But you can see it has 2 issues. First of all, I had to move the mouse all the way there and point it exactly and then drag it here. It's not like you're being lazy, but you have to be someone who is faster than the others in order for you to be better. So the first problem is the distance. The second problem is that it's kind of overlapping with the other axes, which could be like, oh, accidentally I clicked this, and then next thing you know, you're fixing that little thing that you just kind of didn't have to face if you knew the following. So again, I select the geometry. I'm gonna hit W so I go back without the pivot point so I can start fresh. So if you click D on the keyboard and then click and hold V to snap to point, or to snap to vertex, V for vertex, and then I'm going to click and hold the middle mouse button on the point that I want it to snap to, this way, and hit W. Done. Now hit E for rotation. Okay, so what do we have here is a tank that could be seen from here as a tank that is partially detailed, also if it's rotated, it could look like a plane tank. In my opinion, this sums up how smart the user of the modular design is expected to be. And this is like the practice that we need to always approach. Like, how can we make one object to benefit multiple places in a way that it doesn't feel like a cheat, or like, because as soon as you feel like the audience feel like they're cheated on, the game loses its charm, whether it's a game or like an environment. I'll give you one simple example of that. We all have played game before, or you're probably not as old as I am, but you might have played a game where you get really close to the character, and then as you're moving around, you kind of clip through the geometry, and like it feels kind of fake to you, and like, oh my god, they kind of broke the charm of the game. Or sometimes you kind of clip through the elbow of the character and whatsoever. And that could be an example that you have lived to realize how disturbing sometimes it could be, because it's all kind of illusion, but we believe in it, right? Anyhow, so this is an example where like I can just take this object, and I'm going to hit Control D. I'm going to rotate, click and hold J, so the rotation is going to snap 15 degrees. And by the way, you can change how many degrees it snaps by click and hold on the translation or rotation, whatever you're doing with the J button. And I'm gonna push it back here. So now I can select these two and hit Control D, just to give you an example. And then Shift D, it's going to repeat. It's called duplicate special, and I can talk about that later, but for now you can see that let me try the color management, maybe it looks better. You can see that it's sort of like it doesn't feel as repetitive, right? And the other side of that is that you can also see from this side that there are some details, so you can be you can just, with the composition, you can just try to kind of have it this way, maybe in a way that it doesn't really show, or you can just show it in a way that it's sort of like it has some sort of like variety to it, as opposed to just repeating the same object over and over and over. The other thing is, using the same object, you can take all of them and duplicate, and click and hold J on the rotation. You can just have like 2 rows of them, and you can just duplicate those. So on a larger scale, even then, the duplication would be bearable in a way. Yeah? Okay. I can just kind of, as an experiment, I can just duplicate this and see, maybe entertain the idea of going faces, going here. I could possibly say, and okay, that's better. So you could also try something like this, or you could be a bit more secretive about it and just kind of put it at the bottom, so you would only show it when it's intended to show really vividly. Say something like this. When we import these things into the engine, in a way, it would only be thinking about one object, but just populating it multiple times. So that's why modular design is kind of like advanced technology in a way. And a proof of that is that such techniques, along with LOD and other things helps studios to create games that are playable on the phone that looks really good. And then you zoom in and then you start to see more details. That's because of level of details. Anyhow, so this is the process. I'm just gonna fix that ladder. Also, the height of this ladder is determined based on the height of the levels or stairs that I need to have in that environment. So, for instance, I'm just gonna select these, Control 1 to de-isolate. For instance, it's gonna be like two levels at this height, or is it gonna be less? So maybe based on the pole that I have here that is going to determine the height of the warehouse, I think this could be a little too far, so I can just kind of I want to mention that I have here two hero objects. What a hero! Headless hero. And these, I'm aiming to use this one, and the goal is to create more like a warehouse or a garage to maybe load or unload from this ship. This ship is still work in progress, but I figured I would just import it just to kind of to make the environment more interesting. For modular design, it's always ideal to have a hero object or something that is very different from the duplicated objects. So these ones here, like blocks for making the stairs, and I have here this piece that is supposed to be as wide, the opening here that's supposed to be as wide as the stairs. So I'm gonna need to fix that. Maybe I can just kind of go this way, and then after I move it, I can add some sort of like width to it. Select these ones and then hit V. And I want to make sure I do the same thing. I wouldn't say that I would have to be super kind of precise in terms of like how wide this is, but generally speaking, I need to be super precise. And I'll take advantage of this situation to show you what I would personally do to ensure that this is exactly the same width that I have here. I could be kind of duplicating the same object that is like granted as one of the options. So I could like take one piece here, meaning that I could just go and like insert edge loop, and then I would chop this piece here and then duplicate it there and then mirror it and all this. But I'd like to introduce my method of, you know, a tricky situation like that, where like I just want to make sure like I have the exact width here that was manually created, and I would mimic it here. So my personal approach for that, and the reason why I'm mentioning it, because there are a lot of cases where like sometimes we don't really know what to do and we want to have perfection. So it's kind of like painful to not have references. So for what it's worth, I'm gonna introduce it. I'll take one object here, shift right mouse button, and then duplicate. And then I would use this these axes right away. If you don't use these axes right away, you won't be able to select it easily because it would sort of like blend in. So face, shift right mouse button, duplicate. If you hit extract, it's gonna take that piece away from the original geometry, so you just want to duplicate. And now if I hit W Okay, so where are the pieces? Like, where's the piece? You need to kind of like select this and then move it away, and then you see that face, which is kind of pretty annoying. So that's why it's ideal to just kind of do it once you get the axes. But the solution for that, for being able to select this, you can just select both geometry and then hit Control and select the ones that you don't want, and that's going to lead you to this one. And then you can either hit, I think it's ideal to just hit W and then D and then V, click and hold V and then middle mouse button, instead of centering the pivot, because either way we want to have that corner as the pivot point. And then hit W and then V, click and hold V and then middle mouse button, and now we can say okay, so now you can see the width here. Let me try to brighten this up a little bit. No, it's a little too much. Maybe something like this for now. Okay, so I'm gonna hit the D, V and middle mouse and then hit W and then hit V and then select this axis and then push it here, because what I care about is making sure that it's aligned with the corner of the ladder, and that's the case here. So now I can take these points, hit W, click and hold V and then snap them to this one. And now I have a perfectly identical width, and now I can hit Control 1 to make sure there's only this piece, and now I can delete it knowing that it's gone and knowing that I have an identical width here. I don't think anybody's gonna go to the corner and say like, oh, hold on, it's not exactly the same width. But then again, there are players who are bored, and you want to be careful with that. You want to make sure that you entertain everyone equally. All right, so with that said, I can just sell this ladder on eBay because I have a separate one, and it seems like I need to clear the history. Alt Shift D, and then I need to name it ladder. All right, so my next step, I'm just going to show you here a quick example. I have this piece that is not really known what it is. You can call it greeble, but you can just kind of throw it there and give that industrial kind of vibe to your environment, right? But in the meantime, I made a version of it where like, hey, it's from here. If you look at it from here, it has a hole here for some reason. So it's almost like, oh, these guys know what they're building. They kind of like doing some changes. So we trust that this piece here, this nonsense piece, does something, but it doesn't. Anyhow, so I reduced the amount of poles from one side, and then I kept it in the other, on the other. And then it's kind of different here and identical to this side here. So we can sort of like play on it in a way that it would look different as we see it from different angles as well.